The following is a local resident producer's program. The program content is the sole responsibility of the producer and does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of Oshkosh Media, the City of Oshkosh, or your video service provider.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Making It Happen. Tonight I'm very honored to have singer, songwriter, the one, the only Franki Moscato. Thanks for joining me, Franki.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been really looking forward to this.
So let's go into your music video. Aware now?
Yes, yeah. It's a very, if you've heard the song, it's very deep. But
it is very deep.
If you've seen the video, it's 10 times more deep.
Yes. So
we had the wonderful Ryan Liebel directed.
Yes.
Just amazing.
It's a really great message too.
Mom, I'm sorry that I never said goodbye to you. Dad, I didn't think that all of this would last so long. I didn't mean to put you both what you've been going through. I was so blind, I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I couldn't see, I should have stopped and thought it over. Taken deep breaths and thought it through. I should have talked, I should have cried upon your shoulder. Now I can see I should have talked.
Inspired you to do that video or that song?
Yeah, growing up, experiencing bullying in my other schools, and
what kind of bullying? If you want to get into that, I know, because I can tell it personally touched you.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that it's just with kids in school, but it was for me. It was kids. It was teachers, parents, coaches, and it got so hard that I left my first school to go to a private Catholic school, and it turned out to be even worse. And I could definitely talk about that later on here, but. I remember a few years ago I was in this talent show called Bright Stars Face Off, and they were raising money for suicide prevention, teen suicide prevention, and it was a beautiful event. There were 11 contestants, and I'm still surprised that I actually won first place. It was such a blessing. But it was from that day that's when I really felt passionate about this growing epidemic. So I started working with Community for Hope, and we had a great benefit that we ended up raising $12,000 that night. I was performing with the band, and there was a wonderful crowd, and I eventually it came to the point where I wanted to start my own foundation. And that music video came along, and I luckily had this wonderful director. Her name is Ryan Liebel, and before that I had filmed a movie with her called Megs and Julie Go on a Road Trip, and that's how I got to know her, and there's the music video, and I'm really happy with how it went, and I hope that it saves some lives.
Do you think you being bullied, being a young girl, empower you to have a voice, say, hey, I got to do something about this. This can't happen no more.
Yeah, something that's so negative, I tried my best to turn it into something positive, and that's my goal, is to help save those kids who are going through harder problems.
I know of a 7-year-old that was told on a playground that was chanting at a public school, not mentioning any names, with some of his other friends, that he should die because they thought it was a game, and at 7 years old, Franki, 7 years old, so it's still going on.
Yeah, and even behind the phone, on social media, all the comments, it came to a point where I never wanted to go to school. It was so hard for me.
So what would you tell a young Oshkoshian that wanted to live in a safe community that are being bullied? What would you say to them?
I'd probably tell them that it's important to just be kind to everyone, especially to kids who need it the most. You see, the kids know who the bully is. They know who they are, and it's up to them to stand up to them and save that victim. Maybe it's a kid who has a hole in his shoe, or he sits alone at school, he or she. doesn't have a lot of friends. It's important to be an upstander, you know, not a bystander, but an upstander, someone who is sort of a superhero.
What would you like to see legislatures do? Because, you know, government could do something about it too. They could get more education into schools. What could you see being done for future action?
Yeah, I think schools, they need to put into place awareness programs that help support and stop kids from killing themselves, because, you know, it's kids nowadays have every reason in the world to take their own lives, you know, everything from bullying to drinking and drugs and divorces, and there's so many things, and it's like I said, it's a growing epidemic.
I've had 5 friends commit suicide, so.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
That's
it's
okay.
very hard. We all have a story.
Yes. But now on to a brighter topic. Let's talk a little bit about American Idol.
Oh, yes.
And what inspired you to do that?
Oh boy, I think if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I wanted to do a reality TV show, I would have said no. You know, no. I decided that I was never going to do reality TV shows. I wasn't going to do pageants. That wasn't for me. I wanted to focus on education and God, of course. So it kind of all happened by accident. People might have heard my story who are watching, but I was in a restaurant at Beckett's right in Oshkosh.
Yes.
And there was a scout in the audience, and he happened to hear me performing, and he asked if I wanted to audition. So I literally went home and didn't think anything would come out of it, but I was on my laptop talking to 8 producers, and I sang some songs, and about a week later they asked me to go on the show. So it was just that quick.
I believe we have some pictures here too.
Oh, I believe so.
So
Who is that? I recognize her.
that's you.
Is it really?
Can you believe that's you?
I really can. It was so surreal.
Did you feel starstruck?
I was absolutely starstruck. I went through a whole month of preparing in my bedroom. I had a photo of Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan. I cut out their heads, you know, on my bed, and I would sing for them, and I thought that would help me, but it honestly didn't.
And you'd be like, oh, there's Katie, oh, there's Lionel, oh, there's...
It felt like it was just a screen when I was actually there in person. Oh,
So, what was it like? I mean, tell me about the process. Like, before you go in front of those judges, you have to go in front of some other judges. I even heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I even heard that you have to take like a psychological exam.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, but like you said, there are thousands of people that they go through these processes, go city to city, but I'm very blessed. I didn't have to do that. I just had to Skype, you know, go on the internet and talk to the producers there, and then go right to the celebrity judges. But yeah, everyone thinks that when you get that golden ticket, your life is amazing now, you're free, and you know, it's you're dancing on rainbows, but actually...
There's more pressure.
Oh, yeah, and you're trapped in cages, you know. I remember like you said, we had to take this psych test. It was hours. It was so brutal. You know, it was questions to see if you're crazy or not, and one of them was, you know, what's your favorite cereal, or do you ever think about hurting your grandmother? Like, it was so weird, but I don't know why they do it. I hope they didn't think I was crazy, but, you know, like I said, it was brutal, and in the very beginning we signed all these papers, and it's basically like signing your life away for a few weeks.
And so is it pretty much hush hush, don't say anything?
Oh, totally. I couldn't even tell my own family members.
So do you think the bowling kind of inspired you to have that voice to say, hey, I'm somebody, I can speak up, I can sing, you think the bowling led to your singing?
Totally. Growing up, I never really planned to be a singer. It's just something that I like to do. And people's encouragement obviously did play into me pursuing it. But yeah, the bullying caused me, I believe that the more bullying that happens, the stronger I get from it. And my dreams and my aspirations, it's not really about me, it's for everybody else. I focus on inspiring others and making an impact on their lives, and, you know, whatever happens, happens. And hopefully, you know, 50 years from now, they can tell me, you know, Frankie, you've changed my life.
Mm-hmm. What kind of support has your parents been in this whole process?
They've been so supportive. My dad, he actually retired to be my full-time dadager, and you know, my mom's my manager as well. But it's not even just my parents. It takes a village, really. If all the experiences that I've gone through, and especially bullying, and you know, I've got a team of 30 people that we meet regularly for all my events, and I couldn't do it without them.
Do you want to give a shout out to your dad or your mom? I know your mom's here, but.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad. You guys, you're not even my supporters. You're more than that. You're my heroes.
So, now how after you faced the judges, did you ever get like nervous before? Or did you ever have to start over, or did you break out into song right away? And how did you pick out the song?
Oh, it was quite the process. Lots of moving parts. I guess I get asked that a lot if I'm ever nervous, especially for American Idol.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I pray so hard before my performances, especially to not be nervous. And I'm pretty lucky. I do get my prayers answered pretty often, and most of the time I'm not. I was really surprised by my nerves for that experience. It wasn't too bad. I'm very grateful for that. I was starstruck, though. I can't deny that. But picking the song was quite the process, too. I tried to pick something that inspires me the most. I was lucky to even get some help from my team members, and I think it was all meant to be.
Because you can make the wrong song choice, and if the judges don't like it, they won't choose you to go on, or they.
Exactly. Yeah, the song choice matters.
Is Luke Bryan, or I should say, is Luke Bryan as tough as he seems? He seems pretty tough on TV.
Oh, that's so funny. Luke Bryan was actually the softest one. Katy Perry was the intimidating judge, but Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie, they were so nice. They kept giving me compliments and, you know, whatever, but they just have the biggest hearts.
Yeah, but if Katie's in love with an attractive guy on there, she'll be like flirting with him or wanting to kiss him or hug him. She'll be, you know.
I'm definitely glad I'm a girl, yes.
So what song did you sing? Do you remember for your audition with them?
My first audition, I sang "Bang Bang" by Nancy Sinatra.
Okay.
I love oldies, and it's actually a song that some might not think, but it really does inspire me. It's about love, and everyone can relate to that. You know, it's about breakups and how emotionally damaging it can sometimes be, and growing from that.
Do you think we lost our love as a nation? Maybe our compassion? Because we don't seem to be as compassionate as we used to be. Or
Yeah.
I feel like our country's divided and should be closer together.
Yeah, no matter what, I choose kind, and I believe there's always things that we can work on as a country. I believe that we as human beings, we're all a team, and we work together, and we need to treat each other kind, especially the ones who need it the most, like I said.
So, you said that you found your singing voice when you sang at the that one place.
Oh, Beckett's.
Beckett's,
yes. Yeah.
And then, how long were you singing there for?
There was a band that was playing, and they asked me if I wanted to do a little halftime performance, just a couple songs.
Did you do anything in elementary, or were you too shy to sing in elementary?
Elementary, as in grade level, or
Grade level, yeah.
Yeah, like younger songs.
Yeah. Did you find your voice then, or was it when you were singing at Beckett's?
Oh, I found my voice very early in elementary when I started singing for my veterans. I sang patriotic songs, and that's really when the bullying started, when I started getting noticed, and I was different. And it's sad, you know, I left two schools from it, and it sucks.
But it's okay to be different, right, Frank?
It's wonderful to be different, exactly.
Yeah, it's okay to be different, and you don't have to be scared to be who you want to be.
Yeah, totally.
So, now let's talk a little bit more about with the school bullying and stuff. How did that impact you emotionally and physically and socially?
Yeah, it is very hard to talk about, but it does always feel good to just get it off my chest. You know, it's like a breather. But it was you feel very betrayed. you know, it's like a really bad divorce, losing 10 friends at the same time just after, you know, you just performed for the Green Bay Packers. You just really feel betrayed and you feel so lonely. So I am very lucky that I had a ton of mama bears that were there for me when I needed them, and music to turn to as well.
Yeah. So losing 10 of your friends, I bet you was not easy.
Oh, not at all. Eating lunch alone, and my own school counselors, they didn't want to support me, and life really sucked.
But amen for you for rising up and not
Amen.
letting that get you down, and you being you, and then I believe that you went to Lourdes for a while.
I did, yes.
How did you like that? Because they have a pretty welcoming environment, I think.
Sure. Yeah, about Lourdes, I was really excited to go to that school. It seemed so wonderful, you know, everything seemed wonderful, like I said. But Lourdes really actually, they broke my heart, honestly. But I know one of the questions you want to know is what my favorite thing out of it was. And to answer that question would probably be my band teacher, Mrs. Sorensen.
She is a good teacher.
Oh, she's wonderful.
So, I volunteer coach at Lourdes, so it breaks my heart that you know, were you being bullied there as well?
Oh, for sure. That's really when it got worse. But you know, we don't have to talk about that now. But it was very difficult.
Okay. So when did you went to Lourdes when in high school then, or?
Yeah, I left Omro in the middle of 7th grade, and I left Lourdes at the end of freshman year. But I'm very blessed. I went to an online school, and it was sort of a leap of faith. I never thought I'd be going to an online school, you know. But turns out it was the best decision of my entire life.
You have to do what you have to do. What's best for your psyche. So.
Yeah, I put all my faith in God, and I see beauty unfold.
And that's what you have to do.
Right, exactly.
Because you can't let that deter you, you know, from what you want to do.
Right.
So, what are some? I know we have a picture of you meeting Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yes. The funny thing is when they asked me to come back and sing the anthem a second time. You know, the first time I was 11, and the second time I was 17, and
Yeah.
I was surprised. Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
I was supposed to leave. They said, no way, you can't meet any of the players the second time. We're going to have to let you go right when you're done singing. And so we were leaving the stadium, and Aaron Rodgers was running and calling my name. And he got me, and he said, I remember you, and he said, you're a lot taller now, and
Yeah, because I remember seeing that picture of you when you were a little girl.
yes, yeah, just a surreal moment. He's one of my heroes for sure.
So how was it singing at Lambeau?
The first time, I remember looking at my dad right when I had the microphone in my hands, and I just I wanted to just be anywhere but there. Honestly, but it was so worth it. But the second time was so much easier, less overwhelming. But I mean, we're talking 70,000 people, and it's live on television. But, you know, like I mentioned, I pray a lot to not be nervous. So I feel like God was on the field with me as well as my guardian angels.
Yeah. Do you ever think back, am I really here? Is this really happening to me?
Yeah. I remember being very young, singing on a rock, anything that seemed like a stage, and I would imagine myself singing in front of people, and now I'm singing in front of, you know, like at the Packers, 70,000, and it definitely is a dream come true.
Because a lot of people dream of, you know, being a singer or a songwriter, right. but when they're actually, you know, especially somebody local like you, like, hey, dreams can come true.
Oh, they really do.
They can happen.
Yeah, and no matter what profession, I think that it really matters about your character. You are your character.
Yes. And where do you think you get your character from?
Oh, that's a great question. I know that My dad is very sarcastic, so I get a lot of my sarcasm from that side of the family. But my mom has such a strong heart. My dad does too. I remember my grandma Judy always told me it's so important to be humble. You know, you got to have that character, and I think she's really instilled that, you know, through my whole life.
Because you got to be humble. Because if you're not humble, then you lose you lose who you can be. So
Totally.
so. Anyway, so now let's talk about your future plans. Like, how far do you want this thing to go?
Well, you know, I told you before, you know, like I mentioned, it's not about me. I want to put all my focus into you know, those kids out there that are looking for their passions, and I want to inspire them and help them find their dreams, help them learn how to build their character and achieve anything they want.
So when you get in front of a school audience, what's your message? Is it to be kind and to be thoughtful? And
Yeah, I take them through a process of music and storytelling, and I end up giving them some rules about how to create lasting happiness. And if you want to hear the rules and the secrets to lasting happiness, you'll have to come to one of the school assemblies.
Yes. So let's talk about your foundation.
Yeah.
What was your main purpose for your foundation?
My main purpose of my foundation was to help support teen suicide prevention, specifically teen suicide prevention. It's a 501c3, and it's called the Franki Moscato Foundation. Pretty creative, but
Okay.
but you know, the whole point of it is I would grow up, you know, performing at these school assemblies for the past couple of years, and there'd be schools that would come to me and ask me to come, and it was wonderful. And then there'd be other schools that would tell me, you know, they just can't afford it. So I started this foundation to grant money to those schools to help put into place sustainable awareness programs, to bring in those real professionals, not me, you know. You know, so it grants money to those impoverished schools and those organizations, and it involves students and teachers and faculty and even the entire community.
Is one of your goals is to provide as much money throughout the Fox Valley? Because the Fox Valley is pretty big. It's not just Oshkosh.
Yeah, the Fox Valley is huge, and I tell myself this every day that I am so lucky. I'm so blessed to live where I live, right in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, in the Fox Valley. And I hope that we can raise as much money as we can. You know, I'll continue.
Because if you can just save that one life or touch that one person, then you know you're doing your job, right?
Definitely, every life matters, and I've actually been blessed to be the president of my National Honor Society, and I started this little thing where I make these one-on-one phone calls, because this is an online school, so I make these one-on-one phone calls with every single team member, because I want to get to know them better. We can't be a team unless we know each other. And there was one kid that was different than everybody else. Everyone had this wonderful enthusiasm, wonderful character, and one kid, this was very recent, just seemed a little off, and a lot of symptoms of possible suicide that I noticed. So I'm actually calling I'm having communications with my school counselor, and we're going to get that fixed. But like you said, every life matters.
Do you ever talk to them and take them under your own wing, or tell them your own story and be like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, well, I'm selfish and I want to learn from them. I also do everything I can to make an impact on their lives.
How many times have you been told at assembly, Frankie, thanks for coming, or Frankie, you helped save the life, or Frankie, just thank you?
It's the coolest feeling. It's I can't even explain it. And it's not even just school assemblies. There was one very kind woman who came to me a few years ago, and she told me that she was going to take her life. It was all planned on the calendar, and she was getting rid of her stuff. And she told me that once she read about my Be Kind message and my latest music video at the time, I Will Rise, she decided that she's going to actually come to that event and be part of the music video and not take her life. And to this day, we're great friends, and she's doing well.
And this whole Be Kind moment, it's not just about teen suicide. It's just about being kind as a society, as a world.
Right, creating that lasting happiness.
Because that's what I think we're missing, or we might even take for granted sometimes.
Oh, totally take for granted.
So, when I was in 2nd grade, I was bullied as well. I had a 2nd grade teacher, and she said to me, Ed, she goes, Ed, you don't get your homework done, and she called me a brat in front of the whole class.
Oh my gosh.
And so all my classmates were like, they're like, and she's like, Ed's a brat today. So nobody talked to me. I felt isolated, and I came home and told my mom. Me and my mom just cried for hours.
Oh, that's horrible. Some things you just can't understand when you're, when if you put yourself out there, you're different. And for me, I was different because I sang in front of my school. And, there's posters on the walls that tell you win the race and be the hero, and be unique. But it seems like when you do that, they just want to push you down and not let that happen. So it's really sad. I guess you just have to chase your dreams, but expect that that's going to happen.
It got so bad, Frankie, that my mom thought about pulling me and homeschooling me in my 3rd grade year. But I told my mom that my friends were on my base, and I said I got to stick with it because my friends. I said I can't let my teacher be the deterrent.
Oh, well, that's great. It's great that you did have that support there.
Yes.
That's really important. But yeah, I can even think there's part of my family members that don't even want to support me and notice my music or just have anything to do with me.
Is that because they're jealous of your success?
It might be. Some people say that. Yeah, I think it's because I am a little different in the family, and just the other day, my own cousin he unfollowed me off of all my social medias, and it's crazy. I feel like I grew up with these people, and I love them, and just like my other friends, it feels like they betrayed me.
But like we said earlier, it's okay to be different. You don't have to do the same thing that everybody else does. You can create your own path. You can create your own dream.
Yeah.
That's what's so nice about God gives you the free will to do what you want to do as long as you're responsible.
Yeah, totally. I put my goals and my dreams in my GPS, and I kind of let God give me the detours, and I let Him take the way.
So what's the next big plans for Frankie coming up here soon?
Well, continuing my school assemblies, I've got so many coming up. I just got back from Massachusetts a while ago. I had a show there, a lot of traveling. I was just singing for Bucks game, and right now I have my LA attorney that I'm very lucky for technology that we've been talking back and forth on the phone or on the computer, and there's a lot coming up. I've got a new single, Time Machine, that will be coming very soon. And if you liked any of my other old music,
yes, I did.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. This song will blow out all those other songs. This producer is outstanding.
Would you like to? Could you share a little bit of Time Machine on the show?
Should I really?
Yeah, you want to sing?
Yeah. I'll sing. Maybe how about like 10 seconds of it? Is that all right?
That's all right. Yeah.
All right. Say goodbye to all my clones. I've gotta get out of here. Yeah, no, I'm all alone, but the start of my path is near. No intentions of coming home. This is my right from wrong. I'm leaving everything behind. Each destination I'm moving on, moving on. I'm going to a place where I'll survive. Fly in my time machine, bending light over stars in the galaxies.
Oh wow!
How's that?
There's so much emotion. There's so much. Can you tell me the story in that song a little bit?
Oh,
It
yeah.
feels like there's a pretty powerful story just in the lyrics.
Yeah, I called it Time Machine for a reason. And what it's about is a girl coming home from school, all these mental things going on in her head, all these struggles. So she's escaping from it.
We only have like 43 seconds left.
All right. She's escaping from her struggles.
Yeah.
And she goes away into something that she loves, like her time machine.
In the last 30 seconds again, what would you tell Oshkoshian if they wanted to dream, if they wanted to become?
Well, first of all, if you want to become a singer, it's all about character, of course, and second of all, learn the national anthem because it will get you very far. You're singing for your country, and you're building that fan base, and you're hopefully inspiring others with it.
All right. Well, thank you, Frankie. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.